Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Tonight, you will need a bolster. I'm sitting on mine. Or like a big pillow, like a couch pillow works well. I have my blocks right there. Can never do this on the camera properly. There we go. There's my blocks. We will probably use those as well. And then probably a blanket. We'll be doing a pretty good yoga nidra, I think, this evening. So we'll start laying on our backs. And a couple options right off the bat for you. So I actually usually end class this way, and we probably will do it again in some variation, but we're going to start with it. And it's a modified sort of pretend legs up the wall. So you're going to bring your bolster or a block or whatever you have underneath your hips. So ever so gracefully, I just did that. Note the sarcasm. So with a big pillow block, the low back, the sacrum, and the tailbone are all supported. And I'm really planning on having this be a pretty gentle, supportive class tonight. But if you wanted to just use a block or a book or something like that, I would place it on the flat or the second height. Okay, so the first or second, and then this is third, just FYI. Okay. So this is a supported bridge pose. And quite frankly, you could maybe just stay right here. All right. If this feels comfortable, and I know it does for me. All right. Or option to take legs up the wall, so to speak. You can pretend you have a wall support. And frankly, if you have a wall at home, I don't really have a wall accessible here for me to show you guys, but well, actually I do back there, but you can do this against the wall so that your feet are supported, right? They're against the wall. Otherwise, you can just hang out here. And I'm going to let you just settle in. Great pose to do at the end of the day if you're stressed, running around, feeling a little anxious, any of those things. This can be a really good pose for you. All the blood is sort of rushing down. But you may or may not want to just, like I said, stay here in the bridge pose, less of an inversion type pose. And as we're here, I'm going to keep my feet down just so I can continue to talk to you guys. As we're here, begin to just come into the space, into your body, into your breath. Notice the breath coming in through your nostrils and also coming out. Like actually feel the air at the nostrils coming in and out. We don't often pay much attention to that, really. And then you can begin to deepen your breath if you like. You can inhale into the belly, the low ribs, and the chest. And then as you exhale, you can allow the chest to deflate, the low ribs come in, and the belly empties. And having your hands on your belly here in this pose, if you're supported, feels nice. Just a little extra support with your hands on your belly. And this practice tonight really is just about feeling supported, feeling restored. It's restorative practice more so than a yin. A couple yin poses, but hopefully something to help take care of yourself this evening. Take 5 or 7 more deep and even breaths. And on these last breaths, perhaps the exhale becomes just a little bit longer than your inhale. Let's just take a few more. And hopefully, you're feeling yourself settling into the space, into the earth, knowing that she's supporting you here. Even if you're not actually laying on the earth, you might be on a second story like I am, but I still visualize myself being supported by the earth. Take one more nice deep inhale here. And exhale when you're ready. We're going to come into a figure 4 pose. And I was actually thinking of it without this bolster or block. I don't know that I would do it with the block. I would take the block out if that's what you're using. But if you have a big pillow, let's try it with that. So we're going to take our right ankle to our left knee. It just feels really good to me to have this low back supported today. So my right ankle is at my left knee. And maybe you feel it already, and this is perfect, and you would like to just stay here. Awesome. But if you want more, lift that left foot up off the earth and maybe grab the back of the left thigh. Both feet are flexed here to support the knees, protect the knees. And if you don't want to grab the back of the thigh, if that's a little too much, you can take left hand to the right foot and right hand to the right knee and just gently guide the right knee forward a little bit towards, let's call it the front of your mat, away from your head. And especially here, since we have that bolster, it might be a little harder to grab the thigh, I'm not sure. But this option feels good to me. So, you can try it. And remembering you can always drop that left foot if you get tired, don't feel like holding it up. And another option would be to bring this left foot up towards the sky and just roll out the ankle 3 times one direction and 3 times the other. And again, all of this is available to flat on the ground. You don't need anything underneath your hips to get really great benefit actually from this. So in restorative and yin poses, we hold the poses a little bit longer, maybe than you might normally. If you're in a regular yoga class and you're doing restorative poses at the end, there just might not be enough time to hold them long enough. I like to hold them anywhere from 30 seconds to 5 to 7 minutes, sometimes 10. At 30 seconds to a minute, the connective tissue starts to soften. And sometimes you can deepen into whatever pose you're in. Hands on the belly again are kind of a nice option. Go ahead and release that left foot to the ground if you haven't already. And then reach the right leg up towards the sky. Just kind of stretch it up as if you're stamping your foot on the ceiling. And then bend that right knee, right foot comes to the ground. We'll switch sides. We'll take our left ankle to our right knee. And if this is enough, we'll stay right here. I actually am feeling this already. I think lifting it up actually helps us feel it a little bit more. Or lift the right foot off the ground. And I'm timing poses, FYI. If you see me looking at my watch, I'm not checking my texts. I am just timing our poses. So again, option here is to grab the back of the right thigh. Or if you would prefer, you can take your right hand to the sole of your left foot, left hand to the knee, and guide that left knee away from your head. And we're not forgetting to breathe, hopefully. It's a reminder to do so. Even gently rock the hips side to side here if that feels good. Do a little bit extra. And remember, right foot can always come down to the ground. If your legs just are feeling tired, you don't feel like holding them up, it just feels better this way. Any of the above. If you have your foot off the ground, you can reach that right leg up towards the sky and do those ankle rolls, circles with your foot. I like to do 3 one direction and 3 the other. And you can even give yourself a little extra stretch here in the hamstrings. Press the hand into the back of the thigh, thigh into the hand, or not. You can just release it and work on this left hip here. Let the left hip do the work. Let's release right foot to the ground if you haven't already. And then this time left leg up to the sky. Really stretch it out as if you're stamping that foot on the ceiling above. And then we'll bend that knee, release the foot to the ground. Let's just take 3 breaths here just to allow our body to assimilate what we've just done. Not moving quickly tonight. Inhale through the nose. Maybe open mouth exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Last one. Wherever you are, you're going to lift your hips and lift whatever bolster, pillow, block you have under them. And then you're just roll to one side or the other, and we're going to come up to a seated position. Okay. You're going to have your bolster and your block nearby. Maybe both blocks, maybe more pillows. I'm going to bring our legs out in front of us. Okay. I have my knees bent here. You can probably see that. And option to keep them bent or straighten them. We're going to take our bolster and place it on top of our, so if my legs are bent, let me just show you here. My legs are bent, the bolster's like this, right? So it's got a nice little support here, and I'm going to come forward, and I'm going to feel it probably in my low back. If I straighten my legs and I come forward, I'm feeling it in the back of my hamstrings. So honestly, whichever one feels good to you is fine. You're going to grab a block. If your head does not reach your pillow, you're going to grab a block to place underneath your forehead so that it is supported. Okay. So go ahead and find that. If you're using a pillow and you want to reach for your feet, you can hug the pillow, the bolster, whatever you're using. And give yourself as much cushioning bolster pillows as you need so that this feels good. Again, remembering we're not working too hard, we're just allowing everything to soften and relax. Sometimes at this point, you might have softened a little bit. And so if you want more, you can take either a block away and lower your head farther, or you had the knees bent, maybe you start straightening them a little bit, all right? Or maybe you push the bolster a little farther towards your feet and come down a bit further. Or you stay exactly where you are, and that's fine. With each exhale, send your breath to wherever you feel needs it. For me, it's the hamstrings. Maybe it's the low back. Maybe it's the upper back. And when I say send it, I just mean visualize. Visualizing your breath going into that area, creating space, softening. Let's take 5 more deep and even breaths here. Take one more for good measure. And then at the end of your next exhale, you'll slowly roll up to seated. Remove the block or bolster. Scooch a little bit. We're going to come to laying on our backs. So you're going to come all the way down. An option here is you could just come into a child's pose if you prefer. For a moment, that feels good. Do that. Otherwise, we're coming to what's called pentacle. So my legs are wide and my arms are overhead, palms face up, and those are wide as well. It's not quite Shavasana yet, but it's getting kind of close. And just allow the arms and the legs to feel the ground beneath you. If for some reason this is hurting your low back, bend the knees. So that the soles of the feet are on the ground. But otherwise, you're just sprawled. We should call this sprawl asana. I think I'm going to coin that. Three more breaths here. End of your next exhale. Bring your legs together. Bring your feet up onto the earth and then hug the knees into your chest and gently rock side to side. We'll bring the soles of the feet back down to the ground fairly close to your bum. Actually, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. That's not at all what I'm doing. All right. Feet are wide, knees are wide. So maybe mat width distance apart here. All right. So nothing is touching in terms of the legs and feet. Bring our arms out wide to a T or a cactus, whatever's comfortable. And then we're going to just windshield wipe the knees over to the right. Inhale up through center. And exhale over to the left. Do that 2 more times on your breath, each side. Take it nice and slowly. Use the entire inhale to get into one position and then back to the other. Find yourself in center. And then drop the knees over to the right. And we're going to stay here. Now, if this feels like enough and you feel good here, great. Stay here. If you'd like more, you're going to take your right foot and place it gently on top of your right knee, reaching that left hip down toward away from your head. So it's giving a little bit of traction here of that left hip. And it should feel good. And if it doesn't on your hip or your knee, take that foot off and just rest there. And if this left leg doesn't feel right on the hip or knee, you can come out and you can bolster it. Okay, so again, remember I said we're being supported, so you can put that bolster pillow underneath the left knee. My knees are hurting a little bit today from teaching a bar class earlier, and so this actually feels really good. A little extra support. I'm still getting some hip stretching here. And just remembering we're taking care of ourselves. Nothing else matters. This moment, this time here on our mats this evening is for us. This is a great place to visualize your breath going into this left hip, the left hip flexor. It even comes into the psoas here, which we are going to relax here in a minute. Little psoas stretch, release. About 5 nice deep and even breaths here. last breath. If you have that right foot on top of the left knee, go ahead and release it gently. Bring the knees up through center, and we'll drop over to the left. So same deal. See how it feels. Maybe give it, 30 seconds or so to see how this feels. Reach that right hip down away from your head. You can use your leg to do so. And if you still want more, left foot comes on top of the right knee. And, I said bolster in between the knees, right? I think I said that. I can't figure out how I had it. Okay, so no, underneath the left knee. That's how it was. Try that. That feels good. Sending your breath to that right hip. You can even bring your right hand to that hip if that feels good. And you may be feeling it in the front of the hip joint, down the quad, down the thigh, to the hip flexor, and you may be feeling it a little bit up in here into the psoas in the belly. Maybe. Let's do 5 deep and even breaths here. You have your foot on the knee. Gently release it. Slowly bring knees up through center. Maybe readjust the hips, wiggle it out. And then hug the knees into the chest. We're going to come back to where we started with our bolster or pillow underneath our hips for our psoas stretch. And I'm actually going to show you another option as well. So a couple options here is you can lift your hips with the bolster, and you could have a chair and you could put your feet up on the chair. I don't have one handy. Or if you had another type of pillow or bolster, you could use that to place your feet on. So again, oh so gracefully, get up on your bolster. And I'm going to pull my round bolster towards me, and I'm going to lift my feet. And that's going to really release the psoas. Like immediately, maybe do it again, like when my feet were down and then I brought them up, I could instantly feel this releasing. So imagine if my feet were on a chair. So this is something that you can do another time, or if you have a chair handy, go ahead and grab it. We're here all night. I'm just kidding. So I'm just going to adjust, make sure I feel totally supported under my sacrum and my low back here as well. So you can see, my tights are leggings are, fairly high. These are high waisted. So my low back is like right here. So find that comfortable position. You can knock your knees in so they're touching. So my feet are out wide, knees are touching if you like. And we'll just take a few breaths here. Okay. So you can stay here if this feels great. I highly recommend hanging out here for a long period of time. And I probably should have done this at the end because I'm actually going to push my round bolster away. So if you have a chair, you might want to move that out of the way. I'm going to hug my right knee into my chest, grab the front of the knee here. And I'm going to pull my knee in towards my chest. And then I'm going to reach my left leg long. And I'm going to flex that left foot. And I feel it here on the front of my quad. This is my hip flexor. And I actually do feel it. I'll lift again. I feel it coming all the way up in here, which is where the psoas is. The psoas is a hip flexor, by the way. It is also known as the muscle of the soul. They say we hold a lot of our emotions in here. Now, if you're not feeling it at all, a couple options is pull the right knee out towards the armpit. Okay. The other option would be actually to come up on something higher and drop the leg lower. This is actually a great pose to do on the edge of your bed, which I sleep on with this leg off the left side of the bed. So this side gets it a lot. The right side, not so much. So don't do that. Make sure to get both sides, but find what's comfortable for you. Let's take 5 more deep and even breaths here. Take one more. Release the right foot to the earth, keeping the knee bent, and bend the left knee and just let it settle. Maybe notice what's going on the different sides. Do you feel any sensation? Sensation is fine, pain is not. We'll hug our left knee in towards our chest, grab the front of the knee with the hands, and then reach the right leg long. That heel comes onto the ground, foot is flexed. If this feels like plenty or perfect for you, great. If it's too much, release the left knee a little bit, okay? So you're not pulling too hard. If you want more, you're going to take that left knee over to the side and towards your armpit. Also flexing the right foot more. Releasing the right foot is less, typically. So again, you're feeling it, front of the quad, the front of the thigh, which is the quad, up into the groin, up into the belly a little bit, perhaps. You can also kind of move that left hip around if you like. That feels good. Very slowly, very gently. Just move it a little bit. Might just give you a little bit different sensation. More deep and even breaths here. You have pull your right foot in. Both feet are on the ground, knees pointing up. And again, just let it settle for a minute. we're going to come into our Yoga Nidra piece. But I wanted to offer that if you want this psoas release position, you could do it here. Okay. Normally we're doing your shavasana. Best practice would probably be to have your legs supported with a chair. Okay, because then you're really not working hard. Or a couch, like maybe you're right next to a couch. You could put your calves on the couch and feel totally supported. Otherwise, I'm going to invite you to very carefully, slowly, lift your hips, knee open, push your bolster down towards your knees. So they're under your knees. The bolster is under your knees, and you're in a shavasana type position. You can, and probably might like, a blanket to place over yourself, because as we lay here, our body temperatures tend to drop. I'm just going to grab my book that I will be reading from this evening. So find your comfortable spot. So you're getting comfortable, you're lying down, you're sitting, you've got your legs on the couch, whatever it is, whatever's comfortable for you. We're going to be here about 10, 15 minutes. Maybe a pillow or a small blanket under the head, especially if you're on the ground, so that, that doesn't feel hard after a little bit. Do anything you need to do to get as comfortable as possible. Check for any lumps or bumps of clothing, jewelry that's in the way. I actually usually take my earrings and everything off during this. Kind of like when you go get a massage, right? You take all your jewelry off. But anything that might distract you. And scan your whole body, making sure you're as comfortable as can be. Your feet are relaxed, your legs, your hips, back, arms, shoulders, jaw, forehead. Checking in and making any further adjustments if it will help you to be your most comfortable self. And feel yourself settling in. Serene, like a still lake. And now setting aside anything that's happened before this moment, setting aside anything that's happening after this practice. Bring all your awareness into your practice for the next few minutes. Setting everything aside for these moments to calm and connect. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, letting go of any thoughts you'd like to let go of in this moment. Let go of any thoughts. Let go of any need to do. And just be. This is your time again for yourself. No agenda, just peace. Any final adjustments if you need to. Begin to experience the stillness even more. Know that you can move, but if it feels good, allow yourself to enjoy this stillness, this chance to do nothing, resting just as you like. If it feels restful, allow the words to be received energetically rather than mentally. so that even the mind can rest now. In its place, there's effortless awareness. Feel all experience becoming more and more effortless, serene and effortless. Yoga Nidra has now begun. A series of energetic points will be named. Allow your awareness to float effortlessly from point to point. Start by floating awareness to the point between the eyebrows. Effortless awareness of the point between the eyebrows. The hollow of the throat, the right shoulder joint, moving freely to the right elbow joint, the wrist joint, the right thumb, the tip of the index finger, tip of the middle finger, tip of the ring finger, tip of the little finger. Effortless awareness. The right wrist joint, elbow joint, shoulder joint, hollow of the throat. Shifting awareness over to the left shoulder joint, elbow joint, wrist joint, the left thumb, tip of the index finger, tip of the middle finger, tip of the ring finger, tip of the little finger. Shifting freely, the left wrist joint, left elbow joint, left shoulder joint, hollow of the throat, the heart center, the left side of the chest, the right side of the chest, the heart center, the heart center, the heart center. Resting awareness at the heart center, not thinking, just feeling. Become aware of the breath. Aware of the body gently moving with each inhale and exhale. Notice on the inhalation that the abdomen gently rises and then the chest rises. And on the exhalation, the abdomen falls and the chest falls. Inhale, abdomen rises, chest rises. Exhale, abdomen falls, chest falls. Feel this wave of breath, like a wave washing into the shore, then washing away from the shore. Follow this gentle wave of breath. Each breath, watching the wave rise and watching it fall. No need to make any changes to the breath, simply watching. Watching the natural wave of breath, like watching gentle waves on the ocean. Begin to count the waves, simply following the natural pace of breath. Inhale for 1, exhale for 2. Inhale 3, exhale 4. And so on, up to 26. If you lose track, that's fine. Simply start again at 1 Now let go of counting the waves of breath. It doesn't matter if you reached 26 or if you lost track. Just let go of the count. Bring your awareness back to your heart center. Notice the heart center rising on inhalation, falling on exhalation. Bring awareness back to your body. Yoga Nidra is now complete. Feel your body peacefully resting. Feel the support beneath you. Notice the temperature of the space you're in. Notice the sounds. I'm going to invite you to stay here as long as you'd like. But when you do decide to come out slowly. Roll over to your side and take a few deep breaths there. And take with you any calming sensation from your practice today. Om Shanti 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 Om. May peace be with you.